Yeah, yesterday I didn't perform the exercise.
Okay, after this we'll take that questions because this is just a short exercise. It won't take much time.
Okay.
Yeah. And whatever we did yesterday, it will be repeated in today's exercise as well.
Okay.
So today also we'll create a custom image and then we'll push it to dockerhub.com. So what we'll do first is go to hub.docker.com and I already have an account, so it will directly mm, log me in. Okay, and we have to create a repository, but I already have the repository, so I'll just delete it. You just ignore the steps for the time being. Just deleting this repository. Okay, so whenever you log in and if you click on the Docker Hub icon here, okay, it will give you an option to create a repository. So we just need to click on create repository and we'll give it as a name as web app 1, only web app, that's it. And we'll be creating a public repository. We can also create a private repository, but in this case we are just creating a public repository, and we are using a free account. Means there are multiple account types in DockerHub. Okay, in free account we get only one private repository, but a couple of public repositories. But in this case we are just creating a public repository. Click on repositories, create, okay, and just create. So our repository is created. Okay, so it's still containing the deletion, I think. So let's wait for some time, but you all can create the repository web app. Let me try once again. Okay, so it allowed me to create now. Okay, so the web app repository is created, but the tag is /web app. Okay, so from where this Prayagas is coming, if you click on your profile, okay, here this is your username. So it will always, DockerHub will always prefix your username / the repository name. Okay, so this is the whole repository name is prayagas /web app. Now the repository is created. uh, Repository is created. Now what we'll do is, yesterday we created an website directory. Okay, I'll just remove it. You all also have to remove the directory because we are performing again the same steps. And if there are any Docker images, just remove those. And also if there are any Docker containers, remove those. So first I'm removing RMI, Docker RMI, image ID, and it is not allowing me to delete because it is already in use. So let's check ps-a. Let's first delete all the images, containers. So docker rm container id will remove a container. It's running, it's saying. So let's stop it. Okay, after stopping I'll just remove it. Now I'll remove the image as well. Okay, so everything is clean now. Sudo docker ps and sudo docker images. Everything is clean. Yesterday I had a website directory that also I have removed. So we are performing this exercise. I'll share it in this chat. So this is the exercise we are performing. I have note down the steps in the notepad. So we are creating a website directory, mkdir website, then do cd website. Okay, Again, we'll create an app directory inside it. We'll go to app directory and we'll create index.html. So this is my app, the simple application. Okay, cat index.html. Now just go one directory back and we'll create our Docker file as well. The same file like yesterday. It will just copy the contents of app inside USR share nginx HTML. Okay. So what we have an app directory which has index.html. We have a Docker file. Okay, but check the location. We have a website directory. Inside that we have app directory. Inside app directory we have index.html, and inside website we have Docker file. So again I'll explain. It is just downloading a base image called nginx alpine. Okay, and nginx alpine stores all the HTML files by default in this location USR share nginx HTML. So whatever we copy, in this case app directory will be copying in USR share nginx HTML, and it will display the contents of it. Okay, so let's start creating the image. Sudo docker build -t, and we'll give it a name as web app 1 itself. Yeah, so in this case we have to use the complete username and the repository name. Okay, so my username, so how to get it? Okay, so if you go here, so this is my whole repository name. I'll just copy it from here and we'll just append version 1 to it. Okay, we are creating a version 1 of the application, means the image, and just put dot. That means it will create an image called webapp1, the whole name prayagas /webapp1, and it will check for a Docker file in the current location. That's why I've given a dot. Just press enter. It will start creating an image. Okay, so the image is created. Sudo docker images. We can see the image is created. Just for testing purpose, we can run it. It is not mandatory, but just run it. Docker run -d. Run it on port 8080. Map it to port 80 inside the container, and the image name is this one :v1. Okay, I'm not giving any name as of now, but if you see docker ps now, okay, and if I do now curl localhost on port 8080, it will show me this is my HTML app. Okay, that means our image is built properly. We have tested it locally. Now it's time to share with everyone. Okay, so what we need to do to share with everyone, we just need to push it to the remote container registry. In this case it is Docker Hub. Okay, so we are pushing it to Docker Hub. Okay, now what I'll do is just a simple command: sudo docker push and the image name. So this is the image name, sudo docker push. And it started pushing, but note down the screen properly. Okay, so we didn't get the permission denied error. Okay, because I'm using the same VM which I used for the morning batch. Morning batch is also having the same, but if you try, you'll get a error that permission denied. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to do sudo docker login. In this case we didn't get the error. Okay, but you'll have to do sudo docker login, and it will ask you for the credential. At that time, enter the credential of your Docker Hub. Docker Hub also accepts the personal access token, but we can add our username and password of Docker itself. Okay, so one of the method would be just log out. So to replicate, I'll just logging out. Now I'll do sudo docker login. Okay, so I'm using my username as a username and the password of the Docker Hub. The Docker Hub password, not the personal access token. Okay, now I'm logged in. Only after login I'll be able to push the image. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll again log out and just try to push the image. Okay, so if you see, as I have logged out, it is saying authentication required. So you'll also first time get the same error. So you'll have to do sudo docker login. And this is the interview question, how you authenticate with the container registry. Answer is using docker login. Okay, so login succeeded. Now it will push it properly. So when we go here and just refresh this page where we have our repository, and we can see version 1 of it. Okay, and if you have if any one of you want to pull this image, just pull it. They have also given a command copy pull. So what I'll do is I already have an image, right? Sudo docker ps. I'll have to do again the cleanup because the image is already there. So when we pull it, we won't see the difference. So what I'll do is I'll again sudo docker stop. I'll stop the container, then sudo docker images, sudo docker rmi. I'll just remove both the images so that everything is clean. So when we do the docker pull, it will, I'll add hyphen f forcefully, and if I see docker ps hyphen a, there are some containers. So sudo docker rm container id. So cleanup is very important, otherwise we won't see the difference. ps-a and images, docker images. Okay. So everything is clean now. No container is running. Now just copy this and pull it. So the command is simple, docker pull our image name version 1. If I pull it, okay, it's in permission denied, just do sudo. Okay, it has started pulling the image from the remote repository, that is Docker Hub. And in this way, even if you all try this command, you will be able to pull it. Okay, because it is a public repository, it won't ask you for authentication. Only while pushing it will ask you for authentication. So in one of the lectures we learned that it is working on my laptop. Now it will also work on your laptop, like, so we have packaged the image. Okay, I've pushed it to a centralized container registry. Now anyone can use it and there will be no issue of dependencies. Okay, and even if means you can keep it at a centralized location. So this was the exercise for Docker Hub.